Day 1 on Scorched Earth, or Day 201 in my 1000-day journey to beat all 6 ARC story maps in 1000 in-game days. I had just beaten the Alpha Overseer on the island on Day 200, so make sure to go watch those 2 videos before watching this one. Or not, I can't really tell you what to do. Moving on, I spawned in South Zone 1. That's supposed to be easy, but we'll see about that.
Yep. Back at it.
And I quickly got to making cloth armor as it keeps you somewhat cool and it gets about 120 degrees Fahrenheit in the day here. So I'm gonna need all the help I can get to stay cool. And I also had a new cool cowboy hat. I then crafted a pickaxe, hatchet, and then knocked down and tamed a red jerboa, which I named Cheeto. And the turkey trial event was still active while I was recording these 100 days, so that's why you see some cool colored dinos. And after that, I started crafting my first weapons and eliminating some of the local population for their hide. And towards the end of the day, I found the level 12 parasaur I was gonna kill, but I decided to tame it after I was already tired of being on foot. Since Scorched Earth is a desert, the days are really hot and the nights are really cold because that is how climate works for some reason. Anyways, I was wandering around on my newly tamed parasaur when I spotted a yellow drop, and since I'm playing on the same character I played on as the island, I was able to open the drop, but all I got was a window. But after a little more adventuring, I found a plateau hill thing looking over the sand dunes with a water vein, so it was as good enough as real estate as any, so it'll now be my home.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he on X Games mode.
Well, it isn't exactly good looking, but it's my house, and it's better than being out in the wild, so I'll take it. Day 3, I had my first refining forge going, thus smelting a few pieces of metal I managed to gather back on Day 1. I was also setting up my future crafting station with catwalks over the forge and a smithy on top. And with this smithy, I was able to craft a metal pickaxe, desert cloth, a metal hatchet, and a crossbow. Desert cloth still doesn't offer much armor, but it keeps you cool just like cloth, but it's better. And later on, I started crafting narcotics because I was already tired of riding around on my parasaur, and I thought a suitable upgrade would be a Procoptodon, as Scorched Earth has enough Procoptodons for an entire army of them. But Procoptodon saddles are really expensive, so I farmed a bunch of metal in the afternoon and set out to look for a Procoptodon to tame in the evening. Day 4 started with an electrical storm, but since I'm currently the poorest man on this arc, I don't have any electrical things to worry about being shut off. And later on, I found a level 48 Procoptodon, which really isn't good, but neither is this level 12 parasaur I have, so I tamed it. And for some reason, Procoptodon saddles require pelts, so I had to kill a few other Procoptodons for their pelts so I can make a saddle for my Procoptodon. And I'm already tired of saying Procoptodon. But now that I have the saddle, I can quickly hop around the map. So I ventured to a nearby mountain and farmed some crystal for a spyglass. And I also learned I can launch other dinos off cliffs, and it's now one of my new favorite pastimes. Day 5, and I know I've only half finished the house for about 3 days, but I'm already ready for an upgrade. So I farmed up and crafted another forge for higher metal production, along with cranking out a level 138 nearby Dodic I found. And for those of you who don't already know, you can't live in stone structures on this map because you'll bake faster than pizza rolls. But luckily, when Wildcard was making Scorched Earth, they were feeling nice and added a structure called Adobe, which keeps you warm or cold depending on what you need. But the problem is, it costs fiber, wood, thatch, and clay. And you have to craft clay in a mortar and pestle with cactus sap and sand, so it's not exactly a fun building process. But luckily, this Dodic I was knocking out happened to be an excellent sand gatherer. And while I was waiting for the Dodic to tame, I farmed a bunch of cactus sap with the Procoptodon and placed storage boxes in my base. My Dodic was tamed on day 206, and I named her Rock, because she is a rock. Anyways, I went straight to mass farming sand and crafting clay. And around midday, I started to farm other resources I needed to craft Adobe. And towards the end of the day, I began placing Adobe walls. Day 7 was also spent working on the base. Day 8, there were a few good drops coming down, so I spent the morning out collecting those, and I even got a Mastercraft chainsaw. There aren't really any good wood farmers on Scorched Earth, so this chainsaw will now make wood farming much easier. And when I returned to base, I added a few railings on the roof of my house because it kinda looks like the first house we all make in Minecraft right now. Now, I know I just tamed a Procoptodon, but I want another high level, but it shouldn't be too bad to find since I'm already on one. So I spent the rest of the day bouncing around the map searching for one. Day 9, and I wasn't really having any luck, so I added a few things to my base, like another smithy and a fabricator. But you need gas to turn on your fabricator, and you need oil and hide to make gas, and I'm missing the oil. So I spent a few minutes killing oil jug bugs because I believe this is the only way to get oil on the map besides having oil rigs, and I don't have any right now. But now that I do, I crafted an oil rig with my newly placed fabricator, and I went out towards the green knob and placed the oil rig, and I guess if I can't get a high level Procoptodon, I might as well start searching for an Archie. And luckily I found a cool looking level 174 at the end of the day. The Archie was pretty quick and easy to tame on day 10 because it was in a trap, and I named her Rio because of her cool colors. I then proceeded to fly around looking for Explore notes to quickly level up Rio, but I ended up finding a level 174 Procoptodon. You can't ever find what you're looking for in this game, but as soon as you stop looking for it, you always find it. Anyways, I knocked out the kangaroo and went back to my base to farm some more rare mushrooms to tame it. But when I returned, the Procoptodon was under the ground.
What?
that. And I don't care that I use Ghost here. I should be able to tame it normally, but it legit just goes under the floor when I leave for 5 minutes. I swear if Arc 2 has these same glitches. Day 11, the kangaroo was mine, and a few good drops were coming down around the map, so I decided to grab them on my new tame. Now that that is out of the way, it's time to get back to work. Oh, and I'm just now realizing I got an Ascended shotgun in one of the drops. And moving on, I got a few oil rigs in the drop, so I flew back out towards the green obs and placed them. And I started crafting narcotics, bullets, and loading wood into the forges. Day 12, and now that I have wood in my forges, I need actual metal to smelt, and to get that metal, I need an Ankylo. And there just so happened to be a level 150 Ankylo right beside my base. So I trinked it out while a heat wave was happening, so that's always fun. And while the Ankylo was taming, I farmed some more wood for the forges and added a hatch frame at the top of my base for flyer access. But the Ankylo tamed towards the end of the day, so I flew back out towards the green obelisk to perform my first thick metal run on this map. I brought the first metal run back in the morning of day 13, and that's right, I said first, because I did too. I will become the richest survivor to ever walk this arc. After that, on day 14, I started mass farming flint with my Ankylo and stone with my Dodic to craft spark powder. I was gonna need spark powder from gunpowder to craft shotgun bullets and advanced rifle bullets, because I was planning to use turrets to kill wyverns as I steal my first wyvern egg. And later on in the afternoon, I went and checked on my oil rig, and they were producing quite the supply of oil. And I also had about 3 windmills I'd collected from drops, and I was gonna need electricity soon, so I decided to set them up. And I actually found a spot on the plateau thing I live on that has 100% wind, so I will always have sustainable energy. Day 15, I connected the windmill power to my base with cables and then farmed for more wood for the forges. I then started crafting taming gear because I actually found a level 187 tech rex while I was doing some of the metal runs. But I didn't feel like leaving the rex halfway across the map when I tamed it, so I figured it's time to make some cryopods. So I flew out towards the dunes to kill a few mantises for some organic polymer and took my Ankylo to a nearby mountain to farm crystal. I finished farming crystal in the morning of day 16 and then went out to the green obelisk to craft the cryopods as it was a relatively safe place to do so. I then went over to start to drink out their rex, but for some reason I hate myself and didn't make a trap, so I ended up just doing it on the back of my kangaroo and it took the whole day to tame. Day 17, the tech rex tamed and it was alright. I probably won't find a good enough male tech rex to breed it, but you can't really pass up a dino that's over max level like this. And for the rest of the day there was a heat wave, so I just had to chill out inside. I got some more food on the morning of day 18 and took my newly tamed rex out to lower the local population and higher its stats. I also got to crafting some cementing paste I got from killing bugs. I then went out back to the dunes to kill a few mantises for their polymer because as usual I wanted an industrial forge. Day 19, I had all that I needed to craft now to craft the industrial forge, so obviously I did. So I transferred all the unsmelted metal out of the normal forges and into temporary storage to place the forge, but there wasn't enough space in my base. So I took out some of the walls and added a few more foundations and then placed the forge. And I spent the rest of the day farming adobe walls and ceilings to case the forge back inside my base. Day 20, I put the unsmelted metal into the industrial forge as it was now fully functional. And I now want to keep upgrading my base, so I think it's time to make a chemistry bench next. As I said earlier, I plan on stealing my first wyvern egg with turrets, killing the wyverns that are chasing, but advanced rifle bullets, the bullets that are using turrets, are really expensive. So I'm gonna have to craft quite a lot of gunpowder, but there is a sandstorm now, so I can't go out and farm the resources I need for a chemistry bench right now. But I do have wood, hide, and fiber, so I think it's time to place some spike walls around my base because while I was AFK crafting the spikes and waiting out the sandstorm, my RG got by a raptor. Yeah, these spike walls are really necessary. Well, since I have to sit here in my base, I might as well play one of my favorite games, War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever. War Thunder has over 2,000 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships to help you take down your enemies with. And each vehicle is incredibly detailed with their individual components and highly immersive combat experience. And War Thunder isn't just for keyboards. You now play War Thunder on the Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC. And the vehicles in War Thunder spend over 100 years of development. So you can take down your enemies in an old plane from the 1920s or basically a flying Grim Reaper. And you can also eliminate your enemies in 4K with amazing sound effects and insane graphic detail. But my favorite element of War Thunder is the sheer amount of vehicles in battle. There's almost never a dull moment. So make sure to check out War Thunder today on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox and use my link for a large free bonus pack for new PC players. And once again, thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. The first half of day 21 was spent finishing off the spike walls, but I now have to go tame a new RG. I found a level 156 RG in the morning of day 22. It didn't have any cool colors or anything, but I needed RG. And as soon as I returned to my base with my new bird, it was a heat wave in the middle of the day, so temperatures were like 150 degrees Fahrenheit, so I had to AFK in my base and waited out till it was over. The first half of day 23 was spent leveling my new RG by getting explorer notes and killing mantises. And later on, I added a few windows to my base and crafted a chemistry bench along with 2 fridges. I know that I've only been playing permanent for about 25 days now, but man, did I miss the luxuries of having industrial structures back on the island. Day 24, I stayed with the theme of upgrades by crafting 4 vaults to replace my storage boxes. And after that, I crafted an industrial industrial cooker, so I now have pretty much all that I need for these 100 days on day 24. And if you haven't guessed it already, Scorched Earth is a really easy map in my opinion. Maybe just because I'm the best Ark player ever, or that there isn't enough content or danger on the map. But if I really wanted to, I bet I could beat the map by day 50. Day 25, I actually spotted a level 162 female RG. So if I tame this, I could have an imprinted baby RG. And since I'm probably going to be stealing a wyvern egg on an RG, being a little bit faster and taking some less damage would help. And there was a sandstorm while I was taming it, but luckily your boy comes prepared and I had a tent. And the RG took about half the day to tame, but when I got back I realized I don't really have any place to hatch the eggs, so it's time to build a hatching area. And I went with the classic triangle foundation hexagonal design. I think that's a hexagon and I don't really know. I didn't do too well in geometry class. I also added this railing barrier to the back of the hatching area, so when I kill baby rexes to power level my dinos, they cannot escape their imminent doom. And then I added a metric load of air conditioners because wyvern eggs need about 10 million of them to even think about hatching. But moving on, I hatched the RG egg and luckily it came out with a good weight stat, and I spent the rest of the day raising it. I farmed more wood for charcoal in the morning of day 27, and then I got to crafting the structures I needed to hopefully safely get a wyvern egg, including 3 turrets. Hopefully that's enough. It wasn't enough! It wasn't enough! Day 28, and I now have everything I need to successfully get a wyvern. So I flew out towards the wyvern's car on the side of the map, and there was an electrical storm as well, so hopefully that's not a bad omen or something. But first I actually forgot the generator and cables that turned the turrets on, so I had to fly back across the map and get them. But anyways, I got back to the scar with all my stuff I needed for the second time and set up the turret box, and the rest was history.
Yoink!
Come here, boy!
What? Turrets, please, I beg of you. It wasn't enough! It wasn't enough! No, Cheeto! Well, yeah, that didn't really go as well as I hoped. I took one of my Procoptonons back out to the turret box, and all the wyverns were finished off by the turrets by then, but it just sucks they couldn't do it 5 seconds faster. Anyways, I got my stuff and returned to my base. Now, a level 96 wyvern isn't really good at all, but I can use it to get better wyvern eggs. Anyways, later on, the lightning wyvern egg hatched, and I named it Rider, and I spent the rest of the day raising it. Day 30 was spent flying around and leveling up my wyvern and getting used to riding one again. I haven't flown one of these things in over a year, but while I was flying around, I spotted a female level 174 Rex, so I obviously have to tame that. I need this thing to go to sleep. Well, it's nice that was all for nothing. Anyways, for the rest of the day, I just spent it out in the wyvern trench, but I just got a bunch of trash eggs I'm not gonna hatch. After that Rex catastrophe, I spent the majority of day 32 searching for a new Rex. There's a spot towards the bottom of the map near my base where if you kill a Rex and fly around, another one will spawn almost instantly. So obviously I abused this until level 156 female spawn. And great news, this one actually knocked out like it's supposed to. Day 33, the Rex tamed and it was pretty meh. So I still need more. I found a level 162 female on day 34, and its stats came out much better, and it was purple. After spending some time looking for a male Rex to tame on day 35, I gave up and went back to the wyvern trench. And good thing I did. Oh.
Yoink!
Max level. Good enough for me. And when the egg hatched, I didn't really want to give it one of those classic fire wyvern names like Torch or Flame, so here is my best at being creative. Day 36, my fire wyvern was fully grown, so I spent most of the day leveling it up. Day 37, I actually spotted a level 168 Thylacoleo, which is really good for caving, so I farmed up a stone trap, kidnapped a Thylo with my wyvern, and tranked it out. And Thylos are pretty weird to tame, as they like cooked meat more than raw meat. So I tamed it with cooked prime meat, as I didn't have any sheep to get mutton to perfectly tame it, but it will still turn out good. Day 38, my Thylo was tamed, and I went for a test ride. And I also looted a red drop with a ring and got a pretty good rock golem saddle. I'll have to tame one of those later on. Anyways, for the rest of the day, I leveled up my Thyla by murdering other dinosaurs. Day 39, I went back on the hunt for a good male Rex. It took about half the day of killing and letting Rexes respawn, but I eventually got a level 150 male to spawn, which I needed. And obviously, I tamed it. The male Rex came out decent on day 40, so I can finally start breeding my Rexes. So while the two of my Rexes were going at it, I farmed some raw meat to feed the future babies. And speaking of the baby hatches a 251 male with all the good stats. I got really lucky. So I spent the rest of the day hanging around the base, raising the baby, and crafting the things like gunpowder. Now that I have a perfect male, I have to get a female. So throughout the day, I had 2 more eggs. One was a good male I could use for the boss, and the other... But while I was waiting for the breeding cooldowns and for the eggs to hatch, I farmed things like wood for charcoal and looted drops. Day 42, I finally got the perfect female Rex I needed. So I spent the day raising that female, farming raw meat to feed the future babies, and looting more drops. There's so many good drops on Scorched Earth, but they never have anything actually good like a Rex saddle blueprint. Day 43, I'm starting to amass quite the supply of gunpowder and supply of other resources in general. But I need all this gunpowder for more advanced rifle bullets because at some point I'm gonna have to farm 20 wyvern talons of each type to start the Alpha Manticore boss fight. But I'm not gonna do that today, as I'm ready to have some medical brews, and to craft medical brews I need an industrial cooker. And I had most of the metal and other resources, but I did have to venture out to the dunes to kill some mantises for some more polymer. And I also killed a death worm just for fun. But anyways, by the end of the day I had my industrial cooker. Now onto the problem of piping. You see, I thought I could just run pipes from the water vein in my house, but I would come to realize that the water vein isn't infinite water. It takes some time to regenerate, meaning mass crafting medical brews and other things isn't exactly possible. But I wouldn't realize this mistake until a little later on. So for the rest of the day I farmed all the stuff I needed to craft a bunch of medical brews and waited out a sandstorm inside my house where I thought medical brews were crafting outside. Day 45, I finally realized my mistake and quickly got the crafting and placing water pipes from a somewhat close water source. And it took about half of the day, and for the second half I spent it raising Rexes. Staying on the topic of Rexes, for the next 9 days until day 55, I spent time raising and leveling my Rexes by slaughtering baby Rexes. Now, I know this is a really big time jump, but after over a year of making these 100 days videos, I come to like dedicating a certain amount of time to raise and level all of my boss dinos in one chunk. I like the system so I don't have to sporadically raise and level dinos every few days, as it kinda messes up the flow of some things. Moving on, with my Rex army now fully raised and leveled, I still need a UD to rise and encourage one of my Rexes in the boss fight. So I crafted up a basic UD trap and spent the whole day flying around the West Mountains looking for a decent UD and killing all the bad levels.
Day 57 was also spent looking for a UT to no avail.
Day 58, and guess what? I didn't find a UD. And there was also a heat wave, so I had to sit in my base contemplating my very existence for at least 10 minutes. But when it was over, I said screw the UD and took my Thyla to the church cave to get one of the only 3 artifacts on this map. Seriously, Wildcard must have been feeling extra lazy when making this map, because why is there only 3 artifacts? The island had like 10. Like, only having 3 artifacts is kind of a joke. I'm pretty sure Aberration only has 3 artifacts, but those ones are at least in like somewhat cool and challenging caves. Anyways, day 59, I got the artifact in the church cave and artifact in the central cave, I think it's called that. I don't know, and neither do I care. And day 60, I got the artifact out in the mountain. And look at that, in basically 2 arc days, I got all the artifacts on the map. And I don't even know their names, they're that forgettable. That's what she said. Most of day 61 was spent farming metal, but I also crafted some more gunpowder and some more advanced rifle bullets. Pretty soon I'm gonna eliminate the local wyvern population, but that won't happen today because today I'm circling the map looking for loot crates. I believe at most 2 loot crates can spawn out in the dunes, which are supposed to have even better loot drops than normal supply drops, but after spending the whole day flying around just to get 1 loot crate with absolute dookie inside, I'm not convinced. Day 63 and I'm feeling violent. So I thought it was good as time as any to travel back out to the wyvern scar and begin what only can be described as the great wyvern culling of 2022. Now that my reign of terror is officially over on the local wyvern population, I pretty much have everything I need to ascend off this map on day 67. And yes, you heard me right, ascend off this map, because on December 14th, 2022, the Scorched Earth Ascension cinematic was being added along with 15 extra experience levels you can get from killing the Alpha variant. But anyways, I still have some time to kill and a Titanosaur to kill.
No, don't do it!
And I wasn't just killing this Titan for fun. Titans give a lot of experience when killed, and I got an added 15 levels of experience when I killed the Alpha Overseer back on the island, so I want to get myself to max level again.
Oh, brother!
While I was mass murdering wyverns a few days ago, I also picked up some decent wyvern eggs of each variant. I don't really need any more wyverns, but I might as well hatch them. And I named the lightning wyvern Jupiter as a nod to Zanny Zebra's 100 days in Scorched Earth video. He will be missed. He isn't dead, at least I don't think, he just doesn't upload anymore. And I named the other 2 wyverns after space stuff as well. Day 69, I returned in search of finding a good Yudi, and after only like 2 minutes, I found a level 168, and that's good enough for me. So I quickly built a trap and knocked out the Yudi, and then pulled quite possibly one of the most bobbiest moves of all time. So yeah, I'm gonna let the Yudi wake up and then re-knock it out so I can actually get some good taming effectiveness on it. So for the rest of the day, I added spikes around the Yudi to keep it safe from other dinos while I was sleeping. Day 70 and 71 were spent mostly waiting for the Yudi to wake up, as well as flying back and forth between my base and the trap to force feed the Yudi stimulant so it would wake up faster. But towards the end of the day 71, the Yudi woke up and I re-knocked it out and tamed it. Day 72, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do anything except level up my Yudi by killing a few baby Rexes. Day 73, I started the day off with killing some surrounding dinos for raw meat to fill up my dino's feeding trough so you know they don't starve. And I also stood around my base. Yeah, I've been doing that a lot lately. You know what? I'm gonna tame the rock. So I gathered a few resources, made a cannon, farmed some more resources, and crafted a few cannonballs. Day 75, and I found a level 102 rock, and that's good enough for me. Oh yeah. Day 76, and I now officially have a rock. It doesn't really do much besides throw other rocks and roundhouse punch. Oh my god! Day 77 through day 85 was spent killing baby Rexes with an XP boost to get myself to max level. After 8 days of killing probably over 100 baby Rexes, I hit the level 122. I had 2 extra levels from a chibi I had back on the island, so I have an extra 3 levels when I get another chibi. And I did have some from Christmas present drops that were dropping because of the Christmas event, but there were no alpha spawn in Scorched Earth besides alpha wyverns. I did one last big metal run on day 86 to have enough metal to craft all of my Rex saddles. The entirety of day 87 was spent crafting saddles for my Rexes, crafting up cryopods, and then delivering my Rex army to the green obelisk to have them time to wake up from cryo sickness. Day 88, I grabbed everything I need for the boss fight because I was going to end this 100 days 10 days early. I've basically already beaten the map, and the only thing left to do is get a phoenix, and they don't really serve any purpose, so there's not really any point. And if you're mad about me not playing the last 10 days, feel free to dislike the video. Oh wait, day 89 was just spent waiting for my Rexes to wake up, but day 90, well, I guess I'll just call it day 100, but day 100 and it's showtime. Once again, make sure to check out War Thunder on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox and use my link for a free large bonus for new PC players. Do it, or I won't release another video until 2040. Once again, head to the link in the description and download War Thunder today. This is quite possibly the most boring boss fight of all time.